Who is a Jew? Well, that's an interesting question. Some of you may have heard recently that there was a couple in our congregation in Tel Aviv who wanted to get married, and the rabbinical courts refused to give them status as being Jews. This was ridiculous. They're both native-born Israelis, totally Jewish on all sides of the family. There was no issue, but the rabbis didn't want to give it to them, the religious institution, because of the fact simply that they're believers in Yeshua. I want to give you just a little bit of historical background to this. This is amazing. In 1958, in the month of June, David Ben-Gurion, who was then the Prime Minister of Israel, he presented a simple law to the Israeli Knesset. He said, we have to know how to list on somebody's Teudat Zehut, their identification papers, whether they're Jewish or not. So he presented a law, and he said, here's how we'll say it. If both parents come and they claim that their child is Jewish, that will be good enough for us at this time, and we'll be able to list them. Well, the whole Knesset blew up. The religious parties stepped out, and there was a big discussion. David Ben-Gurion formed a committee of 40 people, and they were made up of 10 rabbis, because he thought, well, maybe it's a religious issue. It was made up of 10 intellects, because he thought maybe it's a philosophical issue. It was made up of 10 scientists, because he thought, well, maybe it's a biological issue. And it was made up of 10 people that were specialists in judicial law and judges, because he thought maybe it's a legal issue. Well, these people came up and studied the issue to give a report back to Ben-Gurion to decide the issue of who is a Jew. Do you know what their decision was? I'm willing to bet you don't know what their decision was. You know how I know? Because they couldn't come to a decision. After 60 years, the decision is still open. Nobody can decide this. It's an interesting factor that in this country, maybe it's not a problem for people outside this country, but there's a lot of conflict about who is a Jew. How do you decide that? And it has to do whether our identity is because of who we are as a people. Is it ethnic? Is it decided by the rabbis? It is a religious issue. And behind all of this is a really evil scheme to try to tell people that if you believe in Yeshua, you can't be Jewish, which for us is ridiculous. That's the most Jewish thing there is. He is the Messiah. He's the Jewish Messiah. He's Israeli. He's native born, and he's the son of David. So for us, it's the most Jewish thing. It's the most important thing about our Jewish identity. And yet here there's a very difficult spiritual war. So I want to ask you to pray for Israel, pray for the Jewish people in general, that we will see, not just those of us who are believers, obviously, but for all of our people to see that faith in Yeshua is the most Jewish thing you could possibly do and is part of our identity as a people. Who is a Jew? Well, for us, it's those who believe in the Jewish Messiah, who is Yeshua, Jesus, the son of David.